Okay. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my channel. This is Ryan, hosting with Prince Hosting Fitness. I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Craig. I'm the Real Fitness Ninja.
Yeah, so pretty fun video today. Before we get started, Craig, do you want to just tell the people watching a bit about your training style, your training background?
So I come from a background of martial arts. I started when I was 3. I've done various styles. I've done Taekwondo, I've done Thai and Western kickboxing, I've done ninjutsu, and I've also done Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I currently train twice a year in Japan with the Grandmaster of the art of ninjutsu, and I'm a black belt 10th degree, which means I'm a Shihana master. Just
no joke. Yeah, and what type of training do you do now?
So to couple with that, I do gymnastic strength training. So it's using body weight, functional training, and I couple a little bit with Ido Portal's movement culture.
Oh, awesome, yeah. So like he said, he's been doing the gymnastic strength training?
Gymnastic strength training.
Yeah. And I've been doing calisthenics for about like a year and a half now. Well, yeah, about a year and a half. Even though they are different, I think they are similar in some ways, and I think there are some points where they overlap a little bit. And I've jumped in with a few of Craig's sessions, and you know, I'm trying to take a few pages from his book. And that's one of the keys to getting better, is trying to learn from other people.
This is very much the case. I mean, I take inspiration from guys that do calisthenics and guys that are professional gymnasts.
Yeah,
and it's about taking the bits of training that you see them doing that you can actually do, because some of it's really difficult.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then applying it into your workouts.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We'll come back to that, yeah. So, for those watching, when it comes to like bodyweight training, what are some of the key fundamentals that you would recommend, like starting off?
So, I would say there are 3 fundamental pieces. Pushing, pulling, and squatting. So, in simpler forms, push up, pull up, and squat.
Yeah, easiest part, right?
Wow.
Yeah, well, maybe there for some people, yeah. Yeah. So, sorry, carry on. So
that builds pretty much every dynamic movement. Obviously, there are some components that you have to go into more detail, but pushing is developing a lot of arm and upper body strength. Pulling is developing back strength, and then your squat is developing legs and core.
Right, okay. So let's say for someone that can't do a push-up, like what would you recommend them do?
So somebody that can't do a push-up, I see a lot of people doing push-ups on their knees. Some people call them the girls push-up, but I've seen guys doing it too.
Yeah.
It's learning to be functional with the movement. You'll see a lot of people that have very widespread arms. So rather than using the structure that we're born with, they're trying to do something that's much more advanced.
Yeah.
So it's everything I do is about dialing it back to basics.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then working forward from there.
And like you were saying about the girls push-ups, I think whatever you're trying to do, you should take no shame in kind of regressing, like taking a step back a little bit, and that's going to help you be able to go in the advanced stuff. Because I mean, I'm sure Craig will agree that, you know, you really have to do those really basic things in order to do the more advanced things.
I think a lot of people struggle with that. I mean, I've been victim of it. I suppose ego gets a little bit better of you, and you're like, well, dude, I can squat 150 kilos, but it's not a good squat, it's not a deep squat, and there are loads of areas of improvement. So some people don't want to go back to having no weight and practicing just the movement and getting in the right structure and the right form, because they're going, well, I can do 150, so I'll stick with that.
Yeah.
But to make the progress and add more ability to your lift, you have to go backwards to come forwards.
Yeah, it's like taking one step back in order to take 2 steps forward.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, like, a lot of people start training the bodyweight kind of stuff, but they kind of stop halfway or they eventually give up. So what kind of advice would you give to someone like that?
Show up and be persistent. There are days where I turn up to work out and absolutely nothing works. Like I'm falling on my head. I can't hold handstand. My push-ups are weak, and I'm just like, my body. It's a way of, you've got to learn to listen to your body. You have to be like, okay, my body's telling me something here. Don't push it. So you could turn that workout into a stretch session. Again, super important. Make sure that you're stretching as well as applying the strength component to everything that you do. But don't be hard on yourself.
I mean, I've been there before, you know, and it happens to everyone. You know, nobody's perfect. And I mean, it's also just being like really patient as well. Like, of course, this stuff is going to take time, you know, and like you're not going to see the results straight away. So just really kind of going like just don't expect the results so quickly.
I think one big bit of this is social media.
I can agree more.
I think everybody looks at Facebook and they look at Instagram and Pinterest, and they're seeing these images and these videos of guys doing what they want to be doing. They see guys in ridiculously ripped, cut shape, but they're only seeing the highlight of that moment. They're not seeing all of the show up and train, all of the early morning sessions, all of the late night sessions, and all of the failures. They're seeing just the success. And it's time spent. I mean, some of these guys have been training for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, there's several guys that I look up to, and when I watch their videos, I'm still like, damn, I want to be able to do that, and I can't. I'm not there yet.
So and if someone at your level is saying that, like someone who's just starting up should be able to have the same mindset of, you know, I'm looking at someone else, I'm looking at them, but I still can't do it. Do you know what I mean?
So I think the best thing for anybody starting is find your own matrix of progress. So, I mean, I'd recommend to anybody taking pictures.
Absolutely.
When you're doing your movement, do videos, because then you can look back and you can see the difference. I mean, there are times when I've shot a video and I'm thinking, yeah, I've nailed that. I've got that movement down. And then I'll watch it 6 months later when I've 6 months advanced myself, and I'm like, wow, I was really bad. And then I'm looking at what I'm doing now, but who's to say that in 6 months' time, I'm going to look back at the videos I'm doing today and go, Jesus, that was rubbish. And I'm my own biggest critic. I mean, you're perhaps the same.
I'm similar. I mean, like recording yourself is very helpful because, you know, it's hard to see the frame when you're in the picture. Like, it feels like you're doing it right, but, you know, you're not always. You probably, well, I don't want to say doing it wrong, but you could probably do it better, if that makes sense. And
especially if you train on your own. I mean, if you've got a partner, there's a spot element. But then it's also having a partner that can guide you. If you haven't got a partner that can guide you in the right direction, you'll perhaps find that they're not taking you down the right path, or they're going, you're doing great, but it's not where it needs to be. So it's finding somebody that you can train with that can guide you, or being super self-critical, which earlier we said try and avoid, but that is also helping you get better. But obviously just don't take it to heart. Play with it. Have fun.
Well, awesome. So when it comes to like bodyweight training, would you agree that, like, I feel like core strength is so important, and I think some people tend to overlook that. So what could you just speak about that a little bit?
So core is so important. It's massively under exercised in most bodybuilding routines.
Absolutely.
I mean, you look at people that practice yoga or Pilates, and there's a lot of core strength. You look at the gymnasts, it's daily, it's core work. But it's also remembering that the core isn't just at the front. You've got a continuational band all the way around. So it's making sure that you're working the lower back to support the front structure. It's no good having a really strong front core if your back's weak, because all that'll happen is you'll end up bringing forward because the back's not strong enough to deal with the front core muscles.
I agree. I think some people are just kind of really concerned about their own image, like they want the six-pack abs, but you know, it's really like I mean, and you actually brought this to my attention. Like, if you want something like the handstand, you may have to sort of like take a step back and think about what is there any weak areas I have. Like for me personally, I was kind of neglecting the lower back a little bit. Like I would train it, but nowhere near as much as my abs or my obliques, and that's that's still a third of my core. So I've been training my lower back a lot more, like things like back extensions, whether it's just on the floor or on a machine. And ever since then, I have definitely seen improvements in my movements as well. So
yeah, I mean, it's remembering to work the whole package.
yeah,
I mean, you've got guys that will show up, and girls, and they'll work arms, and then I'll talk to them the next day and they're working shoulders, and I'll talk to them the next day and they're working chest, and then the next day they're working arms again, and I'm like, what about your core?
Yeah.
What about your legs?
Yeah.
Like, what about your back? You've got to have that. It's a balance.
Yeah,
and you
absolutely,
do have to obviously rest certain areas, because otherwise fatigue sets in, and then there's the frustration of not being able to train.
Yeah.
But it is a case of just be consistent with it, and a little bit every day, a little bit every session is just going to make your training elevate to the next level.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it could, like, not like leaving out certain points could actually lead to like muscle imbalances, which will affect your posture and things like that. So it's just so important,
And then if you are interested in the calisthenics, the bodyweight training, the gymnastic strength training, what you'll find is that you've got to go back to the basics, because
absolutely.
you'll never achieve a good handstand without a strong core and all parameters of the core. So when you're working the calisthenics training, the gymnastic strength training, the functional movement stuff, what you're looking for is that strength. And you won't be able to achieve that strength unless you sometimes dial right back, because it'll be key components in your structure, the muscle imbalances that we just talked about, that really hold you back. Flexibility has held me back for a long time. So at the minute and this year, I'm really working on both my front and my box splits. And I'm also tying in, not forgetting the back, a lot of thoracic stretching. And I can already feel the difference with my handstand pressing, my front levers, my back levers, and hopefully, touch wood, within 12 months, my planche.
Yeah, hopefully, so like he said just now, if say you are struggling with something like a front lever or a handstand or a planche, you may have to take a step back and think about, well, what is there something wrong? Like, could I be a little bit more flexible? Could a certain muscle be a bit stronger? And then focus on that, and then, like you said, you probably will start to see the differences.
I mean, it can be quite hard to identify that muscle. You're like, how do I get stronger in this movement? And I mean, sometimes I've had to spend a couple of hours or a couple of days, sometimes even a week or so, looking at what I'm trying to achieve, and then trying to identify the specific muscle that I need to target. But then it's also learning how to exercise that muscle with isolation, so you're not developing something else that isn't going to make it any easier for you. So finding a good coach will help.
Yeah. I mean, like, eyes from the outside, if that makes sense. Yeah. And I mean, I think you talked earlier about how people were doing like push-ups or pull-ups, but they weren't getting the proper full range of motion. Like,
correct.
And I think I made a video about this recently, but do you want to just talk a little bit about how important that is? Yeah.
So if you're not doing what I refer to as full range of motion, then you're only exercising maybe 60 to 70%.
Sorry. For the people that don't know, could you just say what full range of motion is? Yeah.
So a full range of motion in a push-up, for example, would be where I'm coming with a good structure. So my arms are close to my side, my elbows are tucked in, and I'm going to be very, very close to the floor. And then as I press up, I'm going to go to full extension with my arms. But most people will leave the back depressed.
Yeah.
And then the important bit is to make sure that as you press at the top, your back fully reaches its range of motion.
Right.
So it's what's called scapular pressing.
Right. So you're like protracting your shoulders.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You've got to make sure that there's full protraction and that the scapula is fully activated. Again, it's super important for every calisthenic movement, every gymnastic strength movement, apart from your legs.
Yeah, and it is kind of like we do see a lot of people that are only going halfway, and it's like it goes back to what we were saying about the ego. Like, you can put on more weight, but if you're not going the full range of motion, then you're not really impressing anyone.
I've seen people doing, or half press ups, and they're busting them out, and you see them, and they're going really, really quick, and they've got this little pumpy thing going on, and
they can brag about how many.
Yeah, they're like, dude, I just did 100 push-ups, and you see people doing little competitions, and they're going, oh, how many can you do? And then somebody will go to me, oh, how many can you do? And I'll go, well, I could probably at a push do 60 really strong push-ups. And they're like, oh, well, I can do 100, I can do 150. And then I ask them to show me one. And then I'm like, dude, that's half a push-up. And when they start doing the full range of motion, because they've never worked the top part of the range and the bottom part of the range, they might be very, very strong in the middle. But because they've never worked the top and the bottom part, when they've done 5 reps, they're dead. Yeah,
exactly, yeah. And I kind of feel like either the top or the end, for me personally, I kind of found that you get the most muscle activation in those areas.
That is where you're really having to put that little squeeze in.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
you've got to drive, and again, it's about making things look good. I mean, people are pursuing this image, but the image should be in everything. So if you're lifting weights and your body's flopping around as you're doing your bicep curls, it's not a clean image. It's also not a clean exercise because there's no isolation to the individual muscles, and you're doing a lot of the lift with other body parts. So it's about using the isolation to make sure that it's targeting what you want it to target, to get stronger where you want to get stronger.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it's kind of like, let's say something like a push-up. When you're going all the way down, I think that's you got like a big stretch in your chest. And say something like, off the top of my head, like tricep extensions with a rope pulley. I think when you're fully extending your arms, that's when you're getting the most tension in your triceps. But if you're stopping like here, you're not really getting that same amount of tension. So yeah, honestly, like,
just go all the way.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So if it means dropping the weight a little bit, then drop the weight. You know.
Again, I get most of this goes back to ego. People are like, I can do 80 kilos on this, and you're like, but you're only doing this. You're not coming all the way. There's no development with your straight arm strength, and you might find that you're not making the progression that you want. You might be like, I've hit a plateau, and the only way to max that plateau and break through is to develop the areas where you're not strong. So go all the way up and all the way down.
Yeah. So, and obviously that same philosophy can be applied to whether it's gymnastics, strength training, or calisthenics.
It applies to every element of training.
Yeah.
Whether it's fitness, whether it's martial arts, whether it's strength training, weight training, absolutely everything.
Yeah, just travel at your own pace. Yeah. So, any final words or messages to the viewers, like any advice? Yeah.
We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. We were talking about what happens if you can't do the exercise. I mean, obviously it's easy for me to say we'll be functional with it, but again, if you've not got somebody guiding you, then it's going to be difficult. And hopefully in the coming months we can put up some videos which will help you guys with the training, but try and look at ways of reducing the resistance so that when you're doing the exercise it's easier for you. But clean the form up and make it the full range. Make sure that when you're applying the technique, the movement, that you are going to the limits with it.
And when you are trying to learn like a new skill or something, it might be worth having like someone to train with you so they can identify any weak areas you have, whether it's inflexibility or a weak lower back or something like that will help.
And if you're not sure and you can't find somebody, then just drop us a message and we will do our best to get back to you with a response. We can guide our next videos and obviously help you guys with the training.
All right, thanks Craig.
No problem.
Appreciate that, my man. I hope you guys learned a lot today. I certainly did. Tune in next time. Cheers.
See you later.